Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig. And, well, folks, I've seen it, Jurassic World Rebirth, and this is my recap review thoughts on it all. We're going to start off non-spoiler. I will let you know when we get to spoilers if you want to keep listening to it at that point. But right now, we're just going to talk about the new movie, the seventh full-length film in the Jurassic World franchise, the reboot, sequel, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's only been 3 years since the last movie, but here we are. Directed by Gareth Edwards and David Koepp, or written by David Koepp. David wrote Jurassic Park and The Lost World Jurassic Park, the very first two films, which I've talked about on the podcast before and why I'm excited. And Gareth Edwards has done a few things, including Rogue One and Godzilla, the one with Bryan Cranston. So, obviously, it's me. I'm going in very optimistic. I was getting very excited. Starting off, and reviews are so tough, but the first few reviews I've seen, amazing, great stuff. I was like, yes, this is fantastic. Seriously, for about 2-3 weeks before the movie came out, just nonstop fantastic reviews. Then the week of the movie, just seeing awful reviews of it. And they're so extreme. That's the problem with some of these reviews, is they're one end of the spectrum than the other. So I was going in optimist, and as an optimist, and I truly believed it was going to be good. You had Scarlett Johansson, who has been a fan and trying to been in this franchise forever, as your lead. You have Mahershala Ali, who, no matter what movie he's in, he's always bringing in. He's such a great guy. Then you have everyone's current obsession, Jonathan Bailey. I've been obsessed with him for a few years now, but he is. It's him and Pedro battling out right now for who the internet loves the most. And so we'll see. And then you have a bunch of other stars in it who didn't really know who they were before it. Rupert Friend was the one I recognized his face. But the movie, I go opening night and I had a blast. It was a blast. I mean, keep in mind, everybody, this is a movie series about clone dinosaurs brought back to life. You have to have some sense of disbelief and enjoyment, and I get it. Some of the Jurassic World movies have not been the strongest. A lot of people excited. No Chris Pratt in this, myself included. And I had a blast with it. And I would say, right after I saw the movie, the next day, the Rotten Tomato was currently at 58%. Audience score was 75%. And I think that's the better thing. It's what the audience enjoys. Is this a perfect film? God, no. God, no. Is this the best film of the year? God, no. Did we have fun? Yes. And here are some of the reasons why it's so much fun. Again, the cast. Scarlett Johansson, you can tell she's so excited. She's a great actress, but I don't think I've seen and been able to tell that she is so excited to be in a movie than this one. Like, she's just a joy. Jonathan Bailey and Mahershala Ali, as I mentioned. And then we have the Delgados, which is the family. So for those of you who haven't seen the trailer or haven't watched the movie, basically, not only are Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey tasked by Rupert Friend to go to this island to get 3 DNA samples from the world's three biggest dinosaurs of land, air, and water. So that's our mission. That's our main reason why we're going to this. Because again, it's like, why do we keep going to these islands? Now, this is post Dominion. So the dinosaurs, we ended the franchise with dinosaurs free in the world, free to roam wherever. However, since that time, it's been 5 years since Dominion's ending, dinosaurs have not been thriving because of climate change. We're a different place than they were. And so the only place they seem to be surviving is around the equator on one of the islands. Yes, there was a third island. Now, this may seem ridiculous, but in the original movie, John Hammond mentions that he purchased a chain of islands off the coast of Costa Rica. And in the second film, we established the 5 deaths. And that's when we moved on to another island. So it's not unheard of how it seems to be. This location seems perfect, weird, but nonetheless. So we have our main characters going, and then we have another family going who are just sailing across the Atlantic Ocean. It's a a father and his two daughters, and the oldest daughter's boyfriend, who is a stoner, lazy dude. And you're like, within the first few minutes, you're like, oh, this guy better get eaten. So we have this two separate parallel storylines going on. Eventually, something's going to happen that brings them all together. The thing is, I felt like it didn't quite work, the two mashups of stories. I felt like there is a film that's just focusing on the family, and that could be really interesting, and they're trying to get help and out of the situation, not knowing enough about dinosaurs or what to do to survive. And then then the other one with Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali as mercenaries who know weapons, who have been in dangerous situation and can fight to survive. Both very interesting stories. I don't know if they complement them well enough and should have been brought together. That is my first kind of about it. With that said, again, everybody's great. I love the cast. It was fantastic. The other great thing about this film is that the dinosaurs are front and center. Yes, there are mutant dinosaurs in this, as we established with the previous Jurassic World movies. We can't just have a normal dinosaur. We need hybrids. And but regardless, there are so many times the dinosaurs are front and center. It's not long before the new dinosaur comes in, another dinosaur comes in for an action piece, or just having them in the background crawl around. I thought that was fantastic to really bring that, because that was one of the biggest flaws with Dominion. I felt it wasn't a Jurassic World movie. It was a movie with some dinosaurs aside things. Well, those were the main things. I want to say we also watched it in the 4DX Ultra AVX type thing where they go on the theater walls as well. Don't recommend watching it that way. These theaters have not been set up properly for these new formats. So some of these anyways. And so the walls aren't the great for the projection, and it was at times too bright at certain scenes and just did not work out. So if you haven't seen it yet and you want to go see it, I would say go to a different type of theater, maybe IMAX, or do the D box or anything. But I avoid the ones where it's fully surrounded screens, because we don't have the best technology, at least at Chinook Theater in Calgary. So, okay, I think we're at the point. I'm happy with how it worked out. I rated it 3.5. Before we go into spoilers, I will say my current rankings of the Jurassic films. This is by far one of the better Jurassic sequels, for sure. My favorite film, obviously, is Jurassic Park, the original. The second thing that I list on my Jurassic films is actually the short film Battle at Big Rock, because it's just gets right to the point and it's so well done, and it shows a whole different experience of just a family camping in the woods and the dinosaurs attacking. If you haven't checked it out, it's on YouTube. Go watch it, Battle at Big Rock. Then I think I go Jurassic World, the very first one, because I love seeing. I thought that was such a great way to do a reboot sequel. Was okay, let's have the park be fully open. Let's see if this actually worked out. And it worked out so well. Some plot holes, or not plot holes, some problems with the main characters. But Bryce Dallas Howard grew on me, and Chris Pratt actually decreased on me. And then tied, I'd say, goes this movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, and Jurassic Park 3. I've said it. Jurassic Park 3 is so much fun. It's just a fun action film. And this is like a Jurassic Park 3 type thing. We get to the action right away. It takes no time, and I absolutely love it. Then we go to The Lost World. Then I put Dominion just because we got some closure with Alan and Ellie, and that made me really happy. And then Fallen Kingdom is right at the bottom there. So those are my rankings of the films. Now, we're going to talk some spoilers here. So this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't watched it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, turn off now. Spoiler, 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 spoiler. Okay. Again, I think that there was two different films that should have been separate, and I feel like that's the best way for the Jurassic Park World franchise to continue, is to have these smaller stories. Yes, it's going to get ridiculous of different people with the islands and dinosaurs, but maybe a dinosaur breaks free somewhere and attacks at a home. But I do like the Delgado family. They really, brought me a lot of joy. They were a lot of fun. Ruben is the dad, and then Teresa and Isabel is the daughters. Xavier was the boyfriend who I was like, okay, we got a main character that might get eaten, and I think that's going to happen. And I was like, I can't wait for him to die. But then he grew on me, and just like he did with his future father-in-law. And so I felt like they were all really great characters. Poor Isabella, the little girl who steals so much, but she does a fantastic job. She's one of my favorite of the kid actors who have appeared in the movies. Let's just face it, Maisie from the last two Jurassic World movies were just not enjoyable. This one really liked. With Scarlett Johansson's mercenary teams, the biggest problems I had was you knew who was going to get eaten. We had very small people. This is different than a Jurassic World film where we were on an island, fully functioning theme park. You had very few people to choose from who was going to get eaten, and there was plenty of people who gotten eaten or ate by the dinosaurs, and there was no surprise. And you didn't care for them because you knew these people weren't who we were following. When it comes to the dinosaurs, would have liked a little bit more practical effects, but most of them looked pretty well. The T-Rex attacking the raft, I love that we've done so much with the Rex. There's only so much you can do. The Rex has been this hero, gone and attacked San Diego. There's so much. So by just having it like this one scene that lasted a decent amount of time and it was based off of a scene from the original novel was just fantastic. There's some regards to, oh no, they're making kids get endangered again with the Mosasaurus. We know the Mosasaurus is from the original park, original Jurassic World, and just been looking free, roaming free, but they've been able to track it. And there hasn't been as many attacks, so they thought they were safe. It makes sense, but they clearly went too close to where the Mosasaurus was. And it's tough too with that Mosasaurus attacking their small boat that they were traveling across Atlantica. Like, what are the odds? Like, the Mosasaurus doesn't kill those four humans. But again, gotta suspend your disbelief. When it comes to our new hybrid mutant dinosaurs, we've got the D-Rex, which I just could not get behind. It just looked too weird and too monstery and not enough dinosaur-y, and I think that was a real problem for me. And then you have the flying raptor muted ones, mutodons. Just they didn't look as great as the Indoraptor from Fallen Kingdom was a perfect hybrid for being like a raptor size. So I think the mutants, I think we could have done this movie without the mutants. I think the dinosaurs can't be scary enough, as we've seen with all of them, especially because the D-Rex didn't come into play until the end. This wasn't something that was stalking this prey the whole time. The Rex gets out of the cage and then, attacks the car and makes everybody separates and chases the friends in the Jeep and then comes out every now and then. No, this is a thing that did not come till the end. It was, as one of my friends pointed out, it was very much one of those classic video games where all right, you defeated this monster, now on to the next level. So we could have done some things there. Otherwise, I don't know. I loved it. And even the new Dolores, the new little dinosaur that was totally brought in for the kids and money making, and you're going to buy the shit out of it. She grew on me and she was really cute and I was here for it. I don't think that should have gone back to the mainland. I think that's all disastrous, especially because we'll find out that the dinosaur is probably going to die because it won't survive. Now, finally, one of the last things, I'm undecided how I feel about it yet, but I wanted to chat about it. It is the fact that Mahershala Ali does a heroic moment to try and get the D-Rex away from the group so the group can leave and get home safely. Mahershala Ali, fantastic. And there's a moment where he's doing this and he's getting them away, and I'm like, this is happening. Oh my goodness, it's happening. They're gonna kill off one of the leads. We never see this in the franchise. We haven't had any of the big main leads, the ones we know the heroes we're rooting for. They've all survived. The book is different. In the original book, Malcolm and Hammond both die. Hammond was a lot worse in the book, by the way. So I was really like, they can't do this, but also good for them. And then, spoiler alert, he survived. Turns out he was supposed to die, and the studio made them film it both ways just in case when they were out there. So there was a version where Mahershala Ali dies, and Mahershala Ali and Gareth Edwards both wanted that to happen because it would have been shocking and surprising, because we need to have that happen. These are the things we are missing out on. And I get it. It's the whole like final girl situation. There's just these people that must survive, but come on, get some heroic deaths. It would have been great. I thought, why not? So, not much spoilers, but if you hadn't seen them, that's a few things that I'm like, come on, some issues with. Otherwise, I think it's fun. I loved that we had, for the first time, our three marquee leads was led by a female. It was a black guy and an openly gay man as the two other leads, and I just think that's fantastic and great. Nobody really complained about that, which makes me very happy. You know, the budget was $180 million. It's one of the lower budgets, actually, and I think they did a good job, and they filmed on location. There was not that I could tell, there wasn't really green screen time. Obviously, the dinosaurs weren't always there, but yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I was very happy with this film. I can't wait to see it again. I think I'm going to go see it in theaters again, probably IMAX or something, a different viewing experience, and I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. Yeah, thank you all for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know it was a shorter episode, but I know people were waiting for my thoughts. So these are my thoughts, passing time with Craig's Jurassic World Rebirth review recap. Thank you all. Make sure to follow me on social media at PTW Craig, Passing Time with Craig on Facebook and Instagram for all the fun ways to pass time. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye.